Hey, today we're going to be doing beignets. Yay, beignet day. Um, we are going to be doing something that is very close to my heart. This is actually where I got started in pastry, you guys. So anyone that began to know about me and begin to know, besides my family, of course, because that is where I got my love of cooking through my father. Very influential upon me. I would follow him around the kitchen. He would do the savory. I would do the baking. So this is really where I got my roots from. You've seen in other videos that I've done Italian, I've done Mexican, I've done Southern, and I do pastry as well. So we're going to be making beignets today. I have my water boiling because we have to check the temperature on that water before we add it and bloom our yeast. The thing about baking, it is very exact, extremely exact. You can't just, take your eggs from out of the refrigerator and put them in there, or take your butter. Everything, they need to be room temperature. Your temperatures have to be exact because it's basically a chemistry experiment. So anyone that is in chemistry or is in science would absolutely love today's show, or love cooking, or love being in pastry, because that's exactly what it is. You take all the different ingredients that are required for the recipe, and you watch the reactions of all of them working together to come out with this wonderful item that you just devour and you love to eat. So I'm going to get my thermometer. I keep several of them around because of this fact. You have to check your temperatures. Oops. Okay. I've got my thermometer here. Like I said, I'm going to go and check my water to make sure that it is the correct temperature, which should be 110 degrees. Right now it's boiling, so I'm probably going to have to let it cool down. Boiling temperature is usually anything from 212 and above, but we want it warm. So about 110 degrees is really good for the boiling water, so we're going to be able to bloom our yeast. My butter has been sitting out that I'm going to be using. My eggs have been sitting out because we want these room temperature. Room temperature is 70, 80 degrees, depending upon your home. I know it's really cold outside, so we're probably keeping our homes a little bit warmer than usual. I keep mine between 68 and 72 because we can't take the heat over here. So yeah, it causes a whole different other medical thing going on between my son and myself, along with the sweats. So yeah, I'm going to take my water off and we'll begin checking its temperature so that we can bloom our yeast. Okay, I'm back. So while we're waiting on our water to cool down a little bit, like I said, I think it got a little bit of, and I got some flour on my hands. But I accidentally let it get up to boiling. We don't want it too hot either. You're probably thinking, well, it's supposed to be warm. Why can't I just, go ahead and use it? No, not when you're baking. Everything has to be exactly as the recipe says, because it's a chemical reaction that works with other items that are in the recipe to create all those beautiful textures, those beautiful flavors. So do exactly as the recipe states. So if you're one of those that's like, I want to throw it in there, you're for savory. Savory people have a little bit more leniency. They can throw this and throw that in there. And yes, you can play in pastry. You can get creative when you're decorating. But as far as the actual outcome of the item, there are exact things. There are things that you have to do in order to make that item taste amazing. So like I said, I've got my butter at room temperature. I've got my eggs at room temperature. I've got my flour bread flour. That's what we're going to be using. This is about 3.5 cups. This is the first part that we're going to put in here once we bloom our yeast. And then I'm going to add about 3.5 more cups. This is going to make about 40 beignets. That's a lot. So yeah, all my neighbors and friends are going to get some beignets today. So y'all can tell them Hermione made beignets. You're getting some today. Okay. So, so I've got about 3.5 cups of bread flour. Remember, not all purpose, not almond, not none of that. We're doing bread flour. I've got a cup of evaporated milk. I've got my vanilla. I have 2/3 cups of sugar. That's going to go into the warm water. Remember, 110 degrees, not 212. Keep checking it. Keep checking it. Please do not put it in there too hot. It has to be exactly around that area. I've got my yeast. Okay, I've also got a paddle. We're going to start out with the paddle attachment. Then we will move over into the dough hook. So usually when you purchase a KitchenAid, and as I was saying, I've had this one for 17 years, thankful to my mom. 17 years, you guys. A lot of stuff don't last 17 years. So this baby right here has been through the storm. It has been to Georgia. It has been to Texas. It has been to Florida. Anywhere else I cooked, this baby went with me. And it is amazing. And it is very sturdy. I probably had to replace a couple of the attachments, but that's it. But it continues, just continuously going. So we're going to use the paddle attachment today, starting off with. And then, so you'll slide that on. And that's ready there. And my water's almost ready. It was at 212, like I said, because it was boiling. Now it's down to about 130. So see, it didn't even take that long. So it just takes a lot of patience to bake, a lot of precision. And like I said, you might like to bake, and it is amazing. But following details is definitely a part of it if you want to be successful at it. That's all. It just takes a little bit of patience. You know, we allow kids to make cookies and things of that nature, and we see how the flour, is flying everywhere, and the sugar, and it can be a lot of fun. You baking cookies for Santa, or doing any other, making pancakes in the morning. That is awesome. That's not really baking, the pancakes, but there's still, you have to put, if it says 2 cups, put 2 cups. Don't put 3 unless you're trying to scale it. And usually there are a lot of different applications out there, apps that goes on your phone. I'm an Android girl, not iPhone. I'm Android. I like being Android too. My son's an iPhone user, and he's upset. Mom, we can't FaceTime. I don't care. I'll call you. You okay? As long as we talking, we okay for right now. But I'm an Android girl, but there are apps out there that you can download. You can put in the ingredient and the amount that you're using and what you want to produce. Meaning, if the recipe says it yields 6 to 8 servings and you want 24, you'll put 24 in there. Put the ingredient and the amount that it's stating for the 6. It'll calculate it for you, and you know exactly what to do. So pretty simple. Thank God for those apps, because you do learn in culinary school how to scale your recipes. You do learn that. So math is a part of it. Not to scare anybody away from it. When it's what you love, you don't mind picking up all those extra attributes to make it work, you know. So like I said, I've been cooking since I was 8, and I went to culinary school because I wanted to hone in on the craft. I wanted to know more about it. So if it means me picking up an extra book, me taking an extra math class, me studying here, me watching a video, let's do it, because I want to be good at it. So I'm going to check the water again. almost there. I'm going to go ahead, we're right at about 115. So I'm gonna bring my sugar and my yeast in here. Go ahead and bring the water over. Like I said, right now, it's at about 115, so I'm not gonna add anything yet. I'm gonna do right, because I told y'all to do right, so you gotta do right, because I'm gonna do right, okay? See, I'm doing right. I want you to do right. I don't want you to do bad. See, can you see that? It's 113. See there? That's pretty good. Remember, we started at 212, which is boiling, but now we're at 113. So we're doing right. I'm not gonna do wrong. I want you to do right, okay? Okay, so I'm going to add in my sugar. Remember, this is 2/3 cup of sugar. Yeast bloom. We're gonna let it sit for about 10 minutes. Let it boil. Okay, we've mixed the water, the warm water, at 110, between 110 and 115 degrees, y'all, with the sugar, the 2/3 cup of sugar, and the package of yeast. We're going to allow that to bloom. So you're going to let it sit for about 10 minutes before we actually begin to add it to the other mixture, okay? So I'm going to turn this off for a minute, let it begin to bloom, and then I'll get back with you, okay? Okay, I'm back. So like I said, we're allowing the sugar and the yeast to bloom in that warm water. And you can see, I can show it to you, it's getting kind of frothy. It's going to look like a really bubbly mixture. So that lets you know that the yeast is feeding off the sugar. So they're doing their chemical reaction thing, which is what I was telling you about, that everything has to work together. I've got my 2 room temperature eggs that I'm going to go ahead and begin putting in the mixer. Gonna crack one of those. You hear that? See? Told you 17 years. Awesome. It's 2 eggs. And we're gonna put in our vanilla extract. Today I am using a well-known brand. I usually don't use this brand, but it's okay today. So I got 2 of those. Allow that to beat. Alright, just something else really quick here. And I know I told y'all not to do that, but this is my favorite, you guys. I was actually out of a little bit of that. You're supposed to use 2 1/4 cup, so I'm going to add just a little bit more of this. This is my favorite brand right here. So I'm letting the eggs pick up the flavor. Usually you'll always add your flavor to your eggs and your milk. Always do that, because that way it's distributed evenly into the item that you're making. So I'm going to go ahead and add now my milk. I have 1 cup of evaporated milk. Very slowly adding that to the mixture. 1 cup, that's all it takes. Not 1 1/2, not 2. None of that, okay? Okay, and we're back. So we're about to start adding in my butter. The flour. So we've got, this is the eggs and the vanilla flavoring here. We've got our yeast blooming. Turn that off. I'm going to add it a cup at a time. So 1 cup. Slow. I've already sifted this flour. You always sift your flour first. Never just take it straight from the bag and put it in there. You gotta sift it, okay? It's 2 cups. Yeah, now it's getting 3 cups. Spilled a little bit down here on the ground. Not on the ground, but on the counter. So I'm gonna get that up. That's another thing too, you guys. And that was the thing about my dad. You knew when he cooked, because when you went in the kitchen afterwards, every cabinet, every drawer, every sink, it was just like, wow, Dad, this was really amazing. But did an explosion happen? That's just the way he was, but it was always good. So we got that in there really good. Okay. Gonna wash my hands really quickly. It's Mardi Gras season, you guys, so the beignets are gonna be perfect. Especially like if you wanted to do a Sunday brunch between now and the actual time. So this is going to splash up a little bit because it's water. So I am going to pour it very slowly in here. Pour a little bit. And I have, on these KitchenAids, they have a latch that will allow it to stay put so that it doesn't fly open. So you see I'm being very careful. There are some that have the guards so that items will not splash back up on you. I don't have one, or if I did, I probably just don't have it right now. I told you this is my baby. It's 17 years old. So I'm just adding that mixture, that warm yeast mixture with the sugar. We got that all in there now. See, it's sloshing everywhere. And here is where we're going to add our butter. 5 tablespoons of butter at room temperature. Remember, you do not want cold butter going into this. So this is 1. I'll put it in there. 2. I always like to cut my butter up into the little slices. I don't know, I always do it if I'm making macaroni and cheese or anything I'm putting butter in. I like to cut it up. I don't know, it just helps me kind of keep track of things, keep everything measured. 4 and 5. That is 5 tablespoons of butter there. And then we're going to add the rest of our bread flour. Okay, you guys, I'm going to begin to add the rest of our flour. This is the other 3 cups. 3.5 cups. I got a smaller measuring cup this time, so. Got the paddle attachment on there. Woo! Everywhere. It smells so good, you guys. Woo! Almost done. Again, it's 3.5 cups. It's just that I've got a smaller cup to actually put it in here. And that's the reason it looks like I might be adding more than 3 cups, but I'm not. Okay. All right. So now we're going to allow this to rest for 2 hours. It's going to take that long. So we're going to allow that to happen, and then we will be ready to drop it into the peanut oil and decorate it up and put some gorgeous powdered sugar and our different fruits on top of it and be ready to go. Okay, so we have covered the dough, the beignet dough, and we're going to put it in the cooler for about 2 hours. We're going to let it rest after everything has been whipped up together. It takes a moment, and then we will, like I said earlier, we'll begin to fry them, and then we can put some delicious powdered sugar on them and get some other fruit. I have some blueberries, I think, that I want to add to mine. I want to make a little disclaimer. I sent out, or I posted a video about what's on my heart and about what I really want to do with the platform of cooking videos or anything that I have to do with food, and that is bring awareness to what's going on in the back of the house. Like I said, I've been in management. I've managed several kitchens, cafeterias, been a director of dining programs, and my number one issue was staffing. Not because people don't want to work, which is everybody wants to say that everybody is lazy, but you have to give someone a reason. If you make people feel appreciated, they will do more than what is expected. And so we see those memes posted and everything, but yet we forget about the people in the back of the house. Yes, you're going to have a lot of mental health issues. You're going to have a lot of drug abuse. If you're only paying me $7, $8, $9 an hour and you want me to work 15 hours a day, and I've got kids at home that I can't really feed, or my car is breaking down and I can't even afford to go to the doctor to see about it. Does that make sense? Is that fair? And I want to bring this to you guys' attention. I think the last video I kind of got real, I don't know. If my dad saw that video, he'd kill me, because he knows your English was just not correct. And I was not raised that way, to speak in those type of overtures and things of that nature. I was raised to speak properly, and that is how our family is. So if it turned you off, if it made you feel like, I don't want to deal with it, I'm coming to you correctly now. I want you to know that this thing is real. If you see any movie, I think there was a movie, I can't recall the number, a movie came out several years ago about a chef who had been washed up, finally got his bearings back together, and someone wanted him to get a Michelin star, and he had some drug dealers come after him. They wanted to beat him up because he had some bad drug debts. Yeah, it's real. I've met several talented guys, and they will come to me and they would say, Hermione, I don't know what it is. I get to doing it and people praise me, and then I reach for that stuff. I reach for that bottle. I reach for that crack, that cocaine, to help take me to the next level. I suffer with depression. Yeah, it's real out here, y'all. It's real. And while you're out there enjoying your meal, his family or her family is about to just implode. That's not fair. It's not fair. And so, what I want to do with the program, I want to develop, and there are other programs that are taking this around the country that are honing in on this and trying to bring awareness to people. But the pandemic really brought it out because, like I said, everything else stopped, but you had to eat. So that meant that cashier, that fry cook, that line cook had to go to work, leave their kid at home that was probably being homeschooled just so you could have a good meal. I just want to bring honor to the profession. I don't want to make anybody feel bad about what we do. The hard work is appreciated, and I want other people to see that. It shouldn't be. We should be appreciated. It is a wonderful profession. I want us to be paid well. I want not, we're not saving lives, but in a sense, we kind of do. We're not up there with doctors, but please don't make me live in a gutter. And if cooking wasn't that fabulous, you wouldn't see these celebrities starting cooking shows. People flying around in jets saying, "Watch me do my brisket." But there's a man out there who can do a brisket just as well, but can't feed his family. I just want that balance to take place. I just do. The number one issue in managing is staffing. If you can get someone, can they be consistent? Will they come to work? Will they do what they are asked to do because all the other stuff they got going on at home? And people have lives. I understand it. It's everywhere, but it is more prevalent in the food service industry. Anthony Bourdain had the most amazing job. He could eat food all around the world, but he committed suicide. You get to travel around the world and eat food and meet amazing people, and you're like, no, this ain't it. Now, of course, there are other items that play into it. How is his spiritual life? Because I do believe in a mighty God. And I don't know what his religion was. I get that. But there is still something up here that going through all of this, the work and the sweat and the pain, and to not feel appreciated, it does something to you up here. So, again, I'm on my soapbox. I want to talk to people about it. Any type of recognition that I get, I want to bring attention to it because I want people in my industry to be appreciated. That's all. So, our dough is in the cooler. I'll get back with you when it's time to fry it and to make it look really delicious. Talk to you in a bit. Hello, I'm back off my soapbox as well. It's been a couple of hours. I've got my peanut oil on the stove getting really, really, really hot. It has to be about 350 to 360 degrees. That's why they tell you to use peanut oil, because it has a higher burning point than the other regular oils. So again, let's follow exact directions. We're getting peanut oil, you guys. Not the regular other oils, because this one has a higher burning point. You use peanut oil when you fry turkeys. I don't know if anybody also fries turkeys out there. I do too. So, yes, you'll be using peanut oil because of the higher temperature that you can get to. Going to put a little bit of flour out here so that we can roll our dough. I'm only going to do a little bit for right now because I got enough to make about 3 dozen, but it's just me and maybe 2 other folks. I got neighbors and stuff too, but you know, everybody's trying to watch their weight. Not with me around. It's not going to happen. And I think everybody's kind of finding that out. Okay, so we've got our dough. Look how nice and pliable that is. It looks wonderful. I'm going to roll it out. We're going to roll it out into a rectangle because I'm going to do mine in squares. You can make them any type of way that you choose to, but again, I'm going to do mine in squares. So. And you don't want to handle the dough too much, and your hands are going to get a little dusty, but that's okay. That's the fun part about cooking. I don't know if I've got, you know, I know I used to use easy bake ovens when I was little, but I remember making mud pies. When my dad would wash his car on Saturdays, there was always water left over in the yard, right? So I'd be out there making mud pies, y'all. So I've been cooking for a long time. Okay, so I have rolled out. I said I've rolled out my dough, and I'm just gonna cut just a few for right now, and I may do some more later on, but you can keep that dough 3 or 4 days in the cooler. So you can make the dough, pull it out whenever you want to be fancy or have a different dessert other than, you know, your usual apple pie or ice cream or something like that. If you want beignets, especially since it's Mardi Gras season, you can do that. So I'm going to cut them into squares. My cuts may not be that exact, but it's okay. It's okay. I am doing beignets because my mentor, I call him my mentor. He don't like me to call him that, but I call him my mentor. He's kind of, and the funny thing is, he actually kind of looks like my dad. I don't know. That's kind of strange to me, but he does. He never got a chance to meet my dad, but he asked me about making some beignets for an event for him because the pastry person that people go to. And like I said, it's just so strange that, you know, my videos contain a lot of the other different things that I do. Mexican, Italian, Southern, whatever. I like to get in there and do it, you guys. Because I guess it's just my love for food. So I've got about, I think I've cut up here about 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, about 15 and a half beignets. So that's good. A dozen's good to start off with, just to show everybody what they're going to do. So I'm going to check my temperature on my oil again. Last time I checked, I think it was right at about 300. We got to get to 360, okay? And that is what that temperature is going to make it hot enough to make this dough puff up and be beautifully golden brown and delicious enough for you to have. Let me also make a note for everyone. You're going to have to get a candy thermometer. The thermometer that I had before that was checking the temperature on our water will only go to 300. It's going to just shut off. It's going to be like, what? No. So you're going to have to get a candy thermometer in order to measure those higher temperatures, okay? So again, wait until the oil gets ready. See that? There they are. beautiful beignets. Yay! And there they are. My beautiful beignets. Yay!